Hi everyone, welcome back. I've got my project pan update video today, so I'm going to be sharing with you the progress of my makeup project pan items. I do have two empties to talk about today, which is very exciting, so I will mention those as they appear on my list. I tend to go through the products in the order in which they're on my list, which is usually the order in which I would apply them onto my face. So let's get started with the base products that are part of the project pan. I've got two foundations in my project pan. The first one is the L'Oreal Tinted Serum, which I used 12 times the previous month. I tried to clean the bottle recently because it's quite a messy bottle. It's like a dropper style bottle. It's not a pump. I don't know why it's not a pump. That would be so much easier and so much cleaner if it was a pump bottle, but it's not. It's a dropper. And when you then put the lid, the dropper, back into the bottle to then close it and tighten it, some product then kind of comes out and it gets really messy. So I've cleaned it a couple of times previously, and by cleaning it disrupts the dropper, so sometimes you can't squeeze the dropper, and I did that recently and for the life of me I could not get the dropper to work again. So I have had to decant all of the foundation that was left in that bottle into this Elemis tub. So this is my L'Oreal Tinted Serum foundation. I'm not going to tip it too much because it is about a third of the way full, and this tub is 20 grams. So I've probably got about 7 or 8 grams of product left in here. What with it being in here now, it is a little bit more awkward to get product out, but I know that this is it. Once I've used up everything within this little tub here, that's all the product that I have left. So this should take me another couple of months, another sort of like 2 or 3 months. It is taking quite some time to use up both of these foundations, but they are, or they were, pretty full when I put them into the project pan. So, you know, what with me using 2 of them as well, it is going to take that bit longer to use up, but 12 times the last month. And the second foundation I used 13 times. It's the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. I have marked it on the bottle there, the progress since the last update, and it's not much at all, which is really disappointing. The pump of this though is quite a small pump. I could use 2 pumps of this, but I do mix both of these foundations in with this little Giorgio Armani one because I want to get this one used up. There's not much left in this, so that's why the numbers for these are lower than previous months. Usually I would mix both of them in together, but because I'm now mixing each one with this other Giorgio Armani one to get it used up, I'm halving the number of times that I've used it this past month. So 12 for the L'Oreal, 13 for the Giorgio Armani. This one I'm now about halfway for this foundation, so this will take me another sort of like 3-4 months to use up. But once I've used up that mini Giorgio Armani one, I can go back to mixing both of those foundations in together and then go back to doubling the number of times that I'm using them per month. Next is my mini Hourglass Ambient Lighting Diffuse Light Powder. This one I used 17 times since the previous update. I can now see that it's starting to kind of come away at the sides of the pan. I've got a few more kind of what looks like dents. They're not dents from like blunt trauma to the powder, but I think it's just where the powder's being used up. It looks pretty flat, so this one will definitely be an empty by the end of this year. I'm not sure when I'm going to start to kind of see a lot more of the base of this, but yeah, this is looking really flat, making really good progress on this one, and I will be glad to have this one used up because I don't feel like it really does too much to my makeup. I've got a bit on today, but it's a bit of a, what's the point of this product for me personally? I love my Hourglass palette that's got my bronzer, highlighter and my blushes in there, but this product I just don't really see adds much to my makeup. Next product I used 19 times. It's the e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand Contour in the shade Fair Light. There still feels like there's a decent amount of product left in here, so I really can't kind of call when I'm gonna have this one finished up. I do use this one every time I wear makeup though, so I do use it on a really frequent basis. On a previous video somebody commented and said, why don't you in the summer months when you show a bit more skin use it as like a body contour, because it is quite sheer anyway, so it's not really going to be hugely obvious. That's a great tip, thank you, and I will be doing that once the weather warms up a bit more and I do show a bit more flesh. I can maybe put some on my collarbone, down my calves, along my shins, just try to kind of use it up that way. It's not a bad product, but I, like with the Hourglass powder, I don't feel like I really need a contour as part of my routine. So hopefully this one will be used up within the next sort of few months, but should be an empty by the end of the year. Okay, on to one of the empties that I have finished off this month. So this is my Vive face palette in the shade Dawn. So I have previously finished off the highlighter. That one was last year, I think now. And I have used up the bronzer. That bronzer is entirely finished. I did say in the previous video where a lot of the product was around the edge and there wasn't much, it was very difficult to pick up product on my brush, and if any of you had suggestions on ways to kind of help me with that. I didn't say in that video though that I didn't want to repress it, so for those of you that suggested to repress it, thank you, but that was my fault. I should have said in that video that I didn't want to do that. I had a few people comment saying why don't you get something sharp like tweezers or like a nail sort of tool and chip away at some of the powder, crush it down, and then use your brush to pick it up, which is what I have done, and I got through the bronzer really quickly doing that. So the bronzer took me 15 uses since the previous update to finish off. I finished it off on the 28th of April, and now with the peach blusher I've started to use that same technique. So where I've now got a lot of the product around the edge again, I've started to use that same tool to chip away at some of the product, crush it up, and then again pick it up with the brush. So this peach one should be an empty by the next check-in. I think that I could get through the rest of that, and the peach one I used 21 times. The pink blusher I used 20 times, and I'm still no closer to having a pan on this blusher. I don't understand what's going on with this pink one, because I'm using it the same amount of times as the peach one and it is not getting a dip. I really don't understand it. It's so perplexing. But anyway, I've used this really frequently since the last update, so who knows, there may or may not be a pan with the pink blusher by the end of this year. Let's see. So because I finished off the bronzer that was in that Vive face palette, I thought let's roll in another bronzer. This one is also by Vive. This is the Modern Bronzing Duo in the shade Light. I've got Light 1 and Light 2. I use Light 1 a lot more frequently than Light 2. Although Light 2 is a lot warmer, I do find it is slightly too dark for me, so my preference is Light 1, and I have much more of a dip on Light 1 than I do in Light 2, so I am going to hit pan on Light 1 that bit quicker. I am now sort of mixing both of these in together, so I take my brush and dip into both and then put it on my face. This palette is about 1.5 years out of date. Now it's fine, it's not causing any reactions or anything, but I don't know whether I'm going to keep it next year or not, because then it would be obviously like 2 years out of date. It should be fine because it's a face product, it's a powder, you can keep it kind of fairly hygienic, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to keep it or not. We'll see how much progress I make on this palette this year. I doubt I'm going to entirely use it up, but if I can get like really good pans on it, then I would be happy with that progress. So I've only used that one 6 times since, well, not since the previous check-in because it's a new product. I've only used it 6 times, but I'll get good numbers on this one by the next update because it's something that I wear every time I do my makeup. I've got 2 highlighters in the project pan. First up is this Merit Cream highlighter that I used 19 times. I have a lot of this left, and also I don't use a lot of this as well. I just do like one swipe and a little bit on my nose. I find that I look very greasy and very shiny when I put on too much of this. I don't really like it. It's by far my least favourite Merit product that I have tried so far. I still have others from that Merit full collection that I bought last year that I need to try, so would not repurchase this one, but I also don't want to throw it away, so I am going to try and use it up as part of the project pan. Like with the contour, when the summer months come and I'm showing a bit more skin, I'll put some on my body as well and try and use it up that bit quicker doing it that way. The second highlighter is this one from my Hourglass Leopard palette. This one is really flat now, so I think I'm fairly close to sort of seeing the, not so much the pan, but the sort of the honeycomb that's kind of behind it. This one is a really lovely highlighter. I put this over the top of the Merit one and it tones down some of that like greasiness. So together they are both really nice, which is why I'm not going to get rid of the Merit one, because I can make it work by putting the Hourglass one on top of it. The Hourglass one I also used 19 times, and like I say, I don't think I'm sort of too far off from kind of seeing the bottom of this pan. These are two eyeshadows that I have as part of the project pan. So I have MAC Patina and MAC Woodwinked. MAC Patina has a really good pan in it. I've only used these 3 times since the last check-in. I'm finding it difficult to balance wearing these with the eyeshadow palette that's part of my pan, those eyeshadow palettes challenge. I'm obviously taking preference for that palette, and where a lot of the shades are similar, I feel like I can't really kind of wear them all together because then it's just a lot of brown on my eyes. These are lovely though, these are really beautiful shades mixed in together, but I'm just finding that I'm not wearing them that often. I also haven't got any eyeshadow on today because last night when I got into bed I noticed that I had some dry skin right there in the inner corners of my eyelids, and I've still got a bit today, and my eyelids in those patches are ever so slightly pink and ever so slightly sore. They're not sore, but I can tell that they're not right, so didn't want to put any eyeshadow on today. That's happened a few times recently and I'm not really sure why. I don't know what's caused it. So yeah, no eyeshadow for me today, but I really do need to start wearing these a lot more frequently. I will be getting rid of them by the end of the year because they'll be about sort of 9 years old at that point, and I feel like I probably should get rid of them and maybe start afresh. Okay, first of my 3 eyeliners that are in the project pan, this is all that's left of my Peaches and Cream Papyrus eyeliner, so a really great cream colour. I was using it solely in the waterline, but then I had somebody comment saying, why don't you use it as an eyeshadow base? And I have been doing that. It doesn't blend out great, but it works fine for a base for eyeshadow, and I've made some really good progress on it since last month by using it that way. And I think if I continue to do so, this should be an empty by the end of this month, as long as my dry eyelids calm down. So yeah, should hopefully get through this one by the end of this month. And as much as I love this eyeliner, as much as I think the Peaches and Cream eyeliners are great, I'm going to be quite relieved and happy to get this one out of my collection because I'm just finding it a bit of a chore to wear these eyeliners now at the moment. They're just lingering for too long and I'm not really an eyeliner person anyway, so I definitely want to be reducing the eyeliners that I own. Oh, I used that one 16 times. Next eyeliner I used 10 times, and I've made some decent progress since the previous update. This one I also hope will be an empty by the end of this month as well. I was previously just using it to line my upper lash line, but what I have been doing is I have been drawing it all over the lid, blending it out, and then making sure I put on a decent amount of the shimmer shades from the ABH Modern Renaissance palette to help tone down this, because once this is blended out, where this is a dark brown, it's then obviously quite a dark colour on my lid, but it does work fairly well with then eyeshadow over the top. So again, another one that I'm pretty tired of using, but where I'm so close to finishing it off, I don't want to throw it away, and if I really kind of like focus on it this month, then I will get it used up. I don't try to use up my project pan items that way. I don't try and really focus in and hone in on certain products, but I'm getting to the point now where I'm just done with these eyeliners, so I will be trying my hardest to make sure that they're used up by the end of the month. The next eyeliner is by Victoria Beckham. It's in the shade Bronze, and there's not much progress since the last update. I've only used it 3 times, and I use this underneath MAC Patina and Woodwinked. So every time I wear those eyeshadows, I wear this eyeliner as a base and then go in with the eyeshadow over the top. So where I've used the eyeshadows 3 times, I've used this 3 times. This is a beautiful eyeliner though. It's such a gorgeous shade. It's like a khaki gold green shimmer. It's so beautiful, so it pairs with those eyeshadows really well, and it's really creamy, so it's so lovely to blend out. Much better to blend out than the Peaches and Cream and the Kiko one. Those ones are more for like staying put in your waterline or on your upper lash line. This one is a lot creamier and it works a lot better as an eyeshadow. So beautiful eyeliner, but I need to ramp up the usage of the MAC eyeshadows, and then the number of uses of this will inevitably go up as well, but for now it's only 3. Okay, finishing off with the lip products then. So I have one lip liner in my project pan. I've got some of it on today, and I've made some decent progress since the last update, and it's by Jane Airedale. It's in the shade Spice, so it's a great neutral brownish pink. If I wear too much of this though, it then does start to look cool toned. It looks a bit mauve, so I need to be careful with how much I'm popping on. But I don't have too much left. This could be an empty by the next month, but it will definitely be an empty by the following month. This one I tend to put all over my lips, and then I go in with a couple of the other lip products that are part of the project pan, and it's my kind of colour. It's a great, easy to wear, neutral pink, great for sort of everyday use, and it's a lovely lip liner in terms of creaminess as well. It doesn't kind of like drag on your lips. It's really, really lovely, but I don't think I would buy it again though, because it does have that tendency to pull a little bit cool toned on me. This one I used 19 times since the previous update, and this is a great shade that I can wear with makeup and without makeup, so should hopefully get some more decent progress on it next month. I have a lipstick as part of the project pan as well. I've also got this on today, and it goes really nicely with the lip liner. It's by House of Colour, and it's in the shade Autumn Nude, so this is a great pink brown, again an everyday sort of neutral, natural looking makeup look. I wore it 20 times, and I don't have much of this left at all. I don't think this will be an empty by the next update though. I think it will be an empty again with the lip liner by the following month after that as well, so the beginning of July this should hopefully be an empty. One of my favourite lipsticks. It's just so easy to wear, it's so flattering, lovely formulation, it's quite nice and creamy. Doesn't last for super long though, so that kind of helps with reapplying it and then getting it used up, but a lovely, lovely lipstick. One of my favourites. So on to the second empty. It's technically not an empty though. It's my Road Toast Peptide Lip Tint. I only put it into the project pan last month because I didn't have much of it left. It was kind of like my go-to lip balm. I took it on holiday with me as well. It was something that I used sort of like multiple times throughout the day. So where there wasn't much of it left, I thought, well, let's put it in the project pan, and that will be quite an easy product to use up. So as it was something that I used every day, I had it on me at all times, and I was out somewhere, I had it in the pocket of my trousers. I went to use the public toilet, so I did a wee, flushed. As I stood up and pulled up my trousers, I heard a noise behind me and was like, what is that? Looked into the toilet bowl, and there was my lip tint in the toilet bowl, and I just thought, oh my goodness, that fell out of your pocket, what an idiot. Now the water wasn't fresh water because obviously I just flushed, but I thought absolutely no way am I using that again, so I delicately like fished it out, put it in the bin, and yeah, that's what happened to the lip tint. So it's not technically an empty because there was still some product left in it. There's probably about another sort of 2 or 3 weeks left in the product, so I'm glad it wasn't like brand new. I'm glad that there was hardly any of it left in there. So yeah, technically not an empty, but it's an empty in the sense that no way was I going to be applying that again. So I used that 16 times since the previous update, and I've now replaced it with another one of the Road Peptide lip tints. This is the shade Ribbon. This is much more of like a girlier pink, like a bubblegum pink. It doesn't have a huge amount of tint to it, it's just nice to add a little bit of pink to your lips, whereas Toast was more of like a muted brown pink, so that one technically suited me a little bit better. This one I'm also using basically every day as well. I just love that they're so convenient, they're so hygienic. You can just kind of squeeze it up onto your lips, you don't have to kind of use your fingers, and this is a nice base as well for the lip liner and the lipstick, so I do have a little bit of this on underneath, and this I can wear throughout the day. I can wear it when I've got makeup on and when I haven't. I've used this one 11 times since putting this into the project pan, so this is an item that I do use every single day, and although this is fairly full, because I use it every day, I should hopefully get through it within the next sort of 3 months. And then last item is by House of Colour. It's the liquid lipstick in the shade Nearly Nude. I don't use this as a liquid lipstick though, I use this as a sort of liquid blusher, and it works really well like that. It's a great, again, neutral brown pink shade. I've worn it today and I wear this every time that I wear makeup, so it's sort of great for layering with powder blushes over the top. I'm having to kind of scrape a little bit to get enough product out, so I reckon this will probably last for another sort of 2 months, 3 maximum, and it's a really great liquid blusher to blend out as well. It doesn't go patchy, and it's not like hugely pigmented as well. It gives a nice kind of like pink flush to my cheeks, so it's a really, really lovely blusher actually. Although it's not intended to be used like that, it does work really well as that, so I'm glad that I can find a good use for this. And I used it 17 times since the last update. So I've now got 18 products as part of the project pan, so it's still a fairly busy project pan. I'm hoping that by the next update I would have finished off the peach blusher as part of that Vive palette. And then hopefully the Peaches and Cream eyeliner, the Kiko eyeliner, and maybe as well that lip liner. So hopefully a few empties by the next update, but we will see. So thank you very much for watching. If you have a project pan going on this year, please let me know the progress of your items. If you're new here and you're thinking about subscribing, I would love to have you here. Thank you as ever for all of your fabulous comments. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you again very soon for my update for the pan, those eyeshadow palettes. See you later, bye.